For our senior design project, we've designed Spot, an intelligent parking system. The motivation behind Spot was the current state of parking in Philadelphia, where locals describe the process of looking for an open space as, quote, an emotional experience that leaves drivers feeling totally frazzled. Now, the reality of the situation is that in Philadelphia alone, there are about 2.2 million spaces, about 15,000 of which are on-street parking, yet there's no system in place for drivers to find these coveted spots. Besides the daily frustration this causes, it's contributing to a much bigger problem. $73 billion worth of wasted time, fuel, and emissions annually in the US. We believe the problem here is not a lack of available parking. There are actually more parking spaces than people in the city of Philadelphia. Instead, it's a lack of efficient management, which is the problem Spot is designed to solve.
As we can see, the WYZE camera is set up over the 38th Street Bridge pointing north. It is currently taking pictures of the parking situation in the area, and these images will be sent over to the computer vision output.
Once our camera takes a picture of the street side, we need to delineate the areas that cars can legally park in using our Boundaries app, like so. The app takes the points representing the four corners of the bounding box we create and puts them into a database. The points are later used by the computer vision algorithm to detect open parking spaces. Moving to the computer vision algorithm, the first step is to read in the coordinates of the bounding box from the database based on the IP address of the camera. Once the bounding box is obtained, we run the YOLO object detector within this area on the image to identify any cars. Next, we measure the distance between each of these cars using a cross-ratio approach as advised by Professor Costas. Finally, the number of total and open parking spaces is sent to another database to be used by our driver app.
For our camera network, we'll be using a collection of WYZE security cameras. These cameras are available inexpensively on Amazon for $25, and the advantage of these is they each have their own unique IP address and connect directly onto their mobile application. So we'll take a picture on the mobile application by hitting the Take Photo button, and the photo gets automatically uploaded onto Google Photos using the Android software, and from there we can pull that directly into our computer vision algorithm.
The final component of our project is the user application. So we start here on the About page just to give a quick recap of the project so far, what's been covered. And now we can log in, and then we're redirected to the home page. After a few seconds, we're centered in on our current location, represented by this red dot. And we see, if we look just to the left of that, that we have a line over the section of 38th Street that we just took images of and fed through the computer vision algorithm. And if we click on it, we see the results of the algorithm. It is reading in this information from a database, and we see that there are 3 open spaces out of a theoretical maximum of 13. But let's say we want to go somewhere that isn't right next door to where we are now. So we would simply input our location, say we want to go to more building, and then we're redirected there. And we can simply look around and see what parking is like in the surrounding area. So if we click on the red lines, we'll see that there's relatively few parking spaces available, and the green lines tell us that parking is relatively abundant. So as soon as we find a spot that we're satisfied with, we simply click Confirm and Go, and we're redirected to Google Maps, which gives us directions to that spot. Now if you go back to Spot, we'll see that we're still logged in thanks to cookies which store the user information. And what we can do is click on the History tab, and we can see this trip, and we can even review it and state whether or not we had a satisfactory experience. Now let's just say that Spot worked perfectly. We submit the feedback, and voila, there it is.